It's day 44. It's also June 18th, 2019. And we are in Coburg, Oregon. You ever wake up in the morning and ask yourself, what am I doing? And more importantly, why? Yeah, me too. Hi, my name is Craig, and this is my story. A story about life out there. For visuals while listening, search Life Out There on your favorite social media platform or use the links in the podcast description. Headed out of Drain, I had decided I wanted to head north a little on I-5 and spend another day or two in the area driving around Eugene, Springfield. I've already talked about revisiting Fall Creek and Lowell, but what does the Eugene, Springfield area look like some 30 years later, I wondered. The first thing I'd learn is that finding a spot in an RV park on the spur of the moment in June in Oregon is, good luck. It took a little while, but after some time online and on the phone, I found a spot in an RV park behind a truck stop a few miles north of Eugene and Springfield. And that's how we landed in a place called Coburg. Funny to remember that in all the years I'd lived in Oregon, Coburg was nothing more than a sign on the side of I-5 we passed when road tripping it to Portland and back. I don't think I'd ever even been off the freeway in Coburg. The truth is, Coburg is a pretty cool little town that's done a pretty great job of holding on to its past while embracing the future. We only spent the one night in the RV park, but I took an afternoon to look around. Within a 2-hour walk, I browsed a charming little antique shop, walked past a brand new subdivision of about 20 homes, and even a local farm and feed store. At the southern end of town, I found what appeared to be, I think, filbert maybe. Given the time of year, I couldn't really tell what kind of trees, but acres and acres of perfectly manicured orchards. Back out on the freeway, and next to the RV park, there is a truck stop complete with scales, full-service restaurant, and even a truck and RV washing station. This one stuck out to me a little bit because there was an actual truck stop diner in it. Every other truck stop I'd seen in the area had replaced the original diner setup with some sort of national chain, everything from Arby's and Subway to even a Denny's. So it was sort of neat to see that the old school diner type setup is still alive and well. And for the record, the Coburg Diner serves up a pretty mean breakfast scramble. Across the street and just up the road, I found the world headquarters for Marathon Coach, several RV dealerships and service centers, as well as a commercial truck servicing facility. Quite a lot going on in this little slice of small-town America, population 1,025. Marathon Coach, for anyone unfamiliar, is the world leader in the production of luxury bus conversion motorhomes. Since the company's inception in 1983, they have produced just over 1,300 units, referring to each and every one as a work of art. The company takes Prevost bus chassis and builds out their own handcrafted and custom-designed motorhomes. To say these things are top of the line would be a gross understatement. Rather than even try and articulate the technology, design, and amenities that come with one of these things, I'll just say that if you want to hit the road in one, plan on parting with around $2 million in cash. Enough said. The city of Coburg was founded in 1847 and originally named Diamond. The name was eventually changed to Coburg in an interesting story involving a horse. This is the accounting from the Eugene Cascades and Coast official website. Coburg was founded in 1847 by John Diamond and Jacob Spores, and originally known as Diamond, located on John Diamond's land claim, formerly inhabited by the Kalapuya tribes. The two started a successful ferry service across the Mackenzie River in 1855 as the lumber industry was starting up in the area, and Jacob Spores built a mill. Coburg became known for its quality horses, and the local blacksmith, Charles Payne, pronounced the community Coburg in 1865 in honor of an excellent stallion from Coburg, Germany. Coburg was also a Pony Express stop for fresh horses, and then later a railroad line was built between Coburg and Brownsville. In 1900, Booth Kelly Lumber Company bought a mill in town. With the Mackenzie River and the railway, now standardized and extended to move logs, Coburg's lumber industry boomed. But in 1911, Springfield dammed the Mackenzie River and logs could no longer be floated into town. A mill fire the following year shut down the Booth Kelly operations, and the company would reopen later on in Springfield. Coburg is on the National Register of Historic Places as a National Historic District with over 187 sites and structures. A walking tour of 20 historic houses can be picked up at the Coburg City Hall. See? Another fascinating story about a small town in Oregon. And what about the Eugene-Springfield area? This place I called home for nearly 8 years. I went to school here, worked here, and beyond that, managed to find my share of trouble to get into, but I knew little of what the area had contributed to Oregon's history and how it became what it is today. The area in general is in the heart of the Willamette Valley. The sister cities lie across from one another on the banks of the Willamette River. The area, much like I had read about Drain, Lowell, and Fall Creek, was home to the Kalapuyan indigenous people for thousands of years. In fact, evidence suggests that these people called the area home for as long as 10,000 years. Settlement in the area by European American settlers began in the mid-19th century, drawn to the area by its fertile land and abundant natural resources. The two cities were settled almost simultaneously when Eugene Skinner established his cabin on the west bank of the Willamette River near what is now Skinner's Butte in 1846. Within 3 years, in 1849, Elias Briggs would build his cabin on the east bank of the Willamette River. The name Springfield originated from a spring located on 2nd Street where the Springside apartments stand today. Even though there's only a 3-year gap between the age of the two cities, that was all Eugene needed to begin its move ahead of Springfield in population and growth numbers. Both towns maintained their small-town feel until shortly after World War II. Springfield continued its focus on industry, and in particular the logging industry, while Eugene began to shift focus to education. The University of Oregon opened its doors in Eugene in 1876, originally as Oregon State University. In the coming years, the residents of Eugene would raise just over $27,000 to purchase 18 acres of land for the campus. In 1877, the name of the campus would be changed to the University of Oregon. A good deal has changed in the last 142 years. Today, the University of Oregon is home to the Oregon Ducks and sits on a 295-acre campus along the Willamette River. And it didn't exactly hurt Eugene when in the early 1970s a relatively unknown long-distance runner would be recruited from high school in Coos Bay, Oregon, and began attending and competing for the University of Oregon. He would spend nearly 3 years breaking most every record in the college competition scene. In the process, he would sign an endorsement deal with an upstart running shoe company, and the partnership would take them both to new levels. The runner's name? Steve Prefontaine. That little upstart running shoe company? Nike. Eugene is considered the birthplace of Nike. Former Olympian and University of Oregon track coach Bill Bowerman created the first waffle iron-fashioned rubber sole running shoe, which later would evolve into Nike. Phil Knight, co-founder of Nike, sold these shoes out of the trunk of his car during track meets at Hayward Field in Eugene. The city's connection to Nike origins is celebrated through various landmarks and collections of Tracktown USA memorabilia. Tracktown, USA, that would become Eugene's nickname as a result of all this history. Eugene is also home to the Holt Center for the Performing Arts, an impressive venue that hosts over 750 events each year, everything from big-name concerts to performances from the likes of the Ice Capades to even Dancing with the Stars. I will always have a soft spot for the Holt Center, as it was there, with around 2,500 of my closest friends, I would attend my very first live and big-time concert, the Judds. The Judds had just announced that they were retiring their act, and this would be their final concert tour, so needless to say, I was beyond excited to score tickets and see a part of country music history perform live. Another fun fact, their opening act, some young upstart, relatively unknown guy that hit the stage and tore things up for around 20 minutes, finishing his set with a song called The Dance. That dude's name? I think everybody's heard of Garth Brooks by now. But not to be outdone, Springfield is the real-life hometown inspiration for the longest-running scripted television sitcom in American history, The Simpsons. The show is currently in its 32nd season with over 750 episodes. And while Springfield's economic health still relies heavily on the lumber industries, in recent years the city's divestment into the medical services industry has contributed greatly to the city's continued growth. In fact, the largest employer in the city today is Peace Health, a healthcare services organization that operates a state-of-the-art and nationally ranked facility in Springfield called Riverbend. The organization also operates multiple satellite facilities in neighboring small communities, helping to extend access to healthcare to the entire region. Today, over 170,000 folks call Eugene home. Springfield, another 70,000. Fold in the outlying areas, and well over 250,000 people call the Willamette Valley area home. And from what I can tell, for good reason. Finally, even this guy is proud to say I once called this place home for a bit. Who knows? Maybe I will again. But for now, you know the drill. Sliding in behind the steering wheel, Billie tucked under the driver's seat, Dougie in the co-pilot seat, wondering, where to next? I don't know. But I wonder what we'll learn there.
Turns out, this thing called life comes with a lot of rules. Maybe it's time to break a few. Because you can. No, seriously. You can.